I need a mechanic truck.
Well,
Get a job done, and there ain't no tools in there.
Oh.
Where are they?
What's the deal?
You know what the deal is. Bill, spout it.
So now after agreeing to sell me the company for $1.5 million, he keeps wanting more and more.
Shawn Pomrenke's own dad just told him to give him $3 million even after they already made a deal. What was supposed to be a clean sale turned into a gold-covered disaster. Instead of handing over control, his dad clings to every machine and every chunk of gold like it's still his. Is this just about money, or is there something deeper tearing this family apart? Stay tuned, because what happens next means the end of all family ties between them. The gold deal that tore them apart. First, it was just the money. Then it turned into wanting land, trucks, gear, and almost 1,000 ounces of refined gold. That's not a slip of the tongue. That's nearly everything Shawn has left to keep the business running.
I designed her to produce record-breaking numbers. That's what I expect to see.
You give all that away, and what's left? A sinking ship with no fuel and no lifeboats. And the captain? Yeah, he'd be the first one tossed overboard. Before we dig deeper, know this: what Shawn's dad is demanding now is just the beginning, and what comes next will shake the entire Pomerenke legacy to its core. This wasn't some friendly handshake between father and son. This was a full-on battle with shouting, cursing, finger-pointing, and enough tension to snap a steel beam in half. Shawn's dad made it clear he wanted more than money. He wanted control. He wanted to bleed the company dry. Just look at how the numbers started stacking up. What began as a $1.5 million deal grew into $3 million and counting. How? Because every time Shawn agreed to one thing, his dad asked for another. It's like trying to fill a bucket with no bottom. Oh, and let's not forget the equipment. That wasn't part of the original deal either. Now it's all up for grabs. Drills, trucks, even boats. Anything that could be sold, scrapped, or turned into cash was suddenly on the wish list. And every time Shawn tried to reason with him, the bar got moved. It became clearer by the day. This wasn't about passing on a legacy. It was about squeezing every last drop out of a son who just wanted to keep the business alive. There's no winning in this kind of setup. You try to negotiate, you get yelled at, you try to walk away, they guilt you. You hire a lawyer, and then suddenly you're the villain. But what's the alternative? Sit back and watch your dad strip everything for his own gain while you pick up the scraps? That's not just unfair, it's toxic. The worst part is, Shawn didn't just walk into this. He grew up in it. He drove dump trucks before he had a license. He shoveled dirt, loaded gear, and broke his back building something real. And now it feels like that same work is being turned against him. Like every hour he put in is now being used to justify what his dad wants to take away. $3 million. That's the number. But that's not even counting the tools, the gold, or the land. It's like a reverse inheritance. Instead of getting help, he's being billed for the chance to survive. Imagine trying to run a business when your own father keeps moving the goalposts. How do you plan ahead when tomorrow's deal gets rewritten every night? Shawn's hit his limit. He's tired. Tired of being pulled in every direction, tired of the games, tired of seeing everything he built hang in the balance because someone who's supposed to be in his corner is acting like a rival. This isn't how it should go. Not in family, not in business. And yet, here we are, standing in the middle of a storm that never needed to happen. Lawyers are the next step, not because Shawn is eager to throw punches or stir the pot, but because at this point, there's no other choice. He didn't ask for a fight, but when everything's falling apart, when the roof starts leaking and the floor crumbles under your feet, you don't sit still. You move, you protect what's left. You do what needs to be done, even if it means stepping into a courtroom instead of a workshop. This should have been easy. It should have been a proud moment. A father ready to pass the torch, a son ready to carry it forward. They could have stood side by side, shaking hands, smiling, looking out over the business they built together. But greed doesn't care about pride. Greed doesn't know when to stop. It twists things. It takes what was solid and makes it shaky. It turns what should have been a celebration into a slow, painful collapse. Now it's about holding on, about keeping the heat on when the snow starts falling, about making sure the shop doors open in the morning and the crew still has a reason to show up. Shawn is not dreaming big right now. He's trying to stay afloat. Every delay, every extra demand, every drawn-out email or surprise letter from across the table is one more nail in the floorboards. One more wrench tossed into the gears. One more person on the team saying, "I can't take this anymore," and walking away for good. If family means watching everything you've built crack and break while someone smiles on the sidelines, maybe it's time to call it what it is. Maybe it's not just a disagreement. Maybe it's something heavier, something that puts everyone around in danger, not just emotionally, but financially, physically, mentally.
This cleano gives me hope that we're gonna do it.
The trucks, the tools, the contracts, the workers, it's all at risk, not tomorrow, right now. Shawn never signed up to be bled dry. He signed up to work with his hands, to lead with heart, to build something his kids could one day step into. But instead of building, he's patching holes. Instead of moving ahead, he's getting pulled back over and over again. And it's all because someone who already got their share wants more, wants everything. It's not about fairness anymore. It's not about need. It's about grabbing what's left, even if it breaks the whole machine. But before all the fights and court stuff, Shawn's story really began when digging for gold was just hard work, not a big mess. From mud to spotlight. Let's just get one thing straight. Shawn Pomerenke didn't walk into gold mining with some kind of golden touch. Nope. He grew up in Nome, Alaska, where digging for gold is more of a local hobby than a rare skill. His dad, Steve Pomerenke, was already neck-deep in the business, and Shawn just followed in his muddy boots. It wasn't glamorous. Picture a teenager juggling homework with digging through freezing water, hoping to strike gold before his hands went numb. By the time he hit his 20s, he and his dad decided to go big. They built their own company, Pomrenke Mining, and with it came a wild machine called the Christine Rose. This wasn't just some boat with shovels, it was a giant floating beast, custom-made to suck gold right out of the Bering Sea. Sounds smart, right? Well, it was, until they started playing the game on national TV. Enter Bering Sea Gold, a reality show that made cold, wet chaos look like a thrilling adventure. Viewers couldn't get enough of the freezing temps, mechanical breakdowns, and constant drama. And right in the middle of it all, Mr. Gold himself. He earned that nickname because, let's face it, the guy was obsessed. Always chasing that next big haul. Always pushing harder, even when his back was screaming and the engine was falling apart. But let's not sugarcoat it. He wasn't some gold mining hero without flaws.
That's what it's all about, making gold. It's enough to keep the lights on.
While he was bossing crews and trying to play the Gold King, he was also racking up trouble on the side. Multiple DUIs, run-ins with the law, even a nasty back injury that put him out of the game for a while. Still, he kept showing up on the show like nothing happened, back brace and all. And the money? Yeah, there was some serious cash rolling in. They say his worth hit around $3 million, but don't think it was all gold dust and glory. Some of that came from the TV spotlight, not just from the sea floor. Sure, the Christine Rose pulled up plenty of gold, but the cameras helped sell the image. He wasn't just mining for metal, he was mining for fame. Now peek into his private life, and it's quieter. He has kids. His son Dylan popped up on the show a few times, looking like the next in line to take over the family hustle. It's not hard to imagine another generation of Pomrenkes swinging dredge hoses around in freezing water, but is that really a legacy or just a cycle that keeps spinning because no one knows how to stop? Speaking of spinning wheels, he had a big dream. The Mega Dredge. This thing was supposed to be the mining monster of all time, a supersized gold sucker that would crush the competition. But instead of striking gold, it struck problems. Money ran out, plans stalled, the dream fizzled. It was like watching a giant balloon deflate in slow motion. He wanted more gold, but what he really got was a wake-up call. And just when it seemed like the TV show and the gold would make life easier,
We gotta get the hopper down there, we gotta get the screen decks, the sluice box.
things started getting harder every single day. More than just gold in the water. And then there was the endless stress. Think about it. One minute you're wrestling with broken parts in freezing water, the next you're trying to keep a business afloat, and all the while you're being filmed. That takes a toll. Leadership? Yeah, he had it. But at what cost? Every decision carried weight and every mistake played out on screen for millions to see. Still, the guy had grit. Weather turned ugly, he kept digging, machines broke down, he patched them up with duct tape and willpower, gold prices dipped. He took the hit and moved on. It wasn't just about pulling treasure from the sea. It was about holding everything together while the waves kept crashing. His bond with his dad, Steve, added another layer to the story. Two strong personalities, both stubborn, both sure they were right. Plenty of tension, but also respect. They fought, they disagreed, but they built something together. Steve brought the old school know-how. Shawn brought the drive. Together, they turned tradition into something new. Outside the mining bubble, he started testing other waters. Inland mining caught his eye. Less risk, fewer storms.
Trying to, what I call it, is managing chaos.
No freezing water trying to suck the life out of him. That shift showed something important. The guy wasn't just chasing gold, he was thinking long-term, diversifying, trying to play it smarter. And maybe, just maybe, he was starting to realize that gold isn't the only thing worth chasing. Funny thing is, for someone who dug holes for a living, he also started thinking about what he was leaving behind. Environmental stuff, marine life, pollution, all those things people love to ignore when they're cashing in. But he couldn't ignore it forever. He started leaning into cleaner methods, better disposal, less damage. Not perfect, but a start. Let's not pretend he turned into a saint overnight. But the shift matters. When someone who's made his name tearing up seafloors starts thinking about what happens next, it says something. Maybe guilt, maybe growth, or maybe he just didn't want his name tied to wreckage. Now toss in gold prices bouncing all over the place. 1 month, you're up. Next month, you're underwater, literally and financially. He had to roll with it, stay ahead of the trends, and make fast calls when the market went sideways. And when your whole business depends on a shiny rock buried in mud, that's no small feat. He also leaned into tech, better gear, smarter maps, digital tools that made hunting treasure a bit less guesswork and a bit more strategy. That stuff matters when you're burning through fuel and time by the hour. Behind the scenes, the social side of mining got spicy. Rivals, allies, people who smiled on camera but plotted behind the scenes. He had to navigate all of it, build alliances, break a few, win some, lose more. The show didn't always show the full mess, but anyone paying attention could see it. Then there's the mentor side. He pulled in his kid, teaching him the ropes, trying to pass on what he learned. It wasn't just about building a team, it was about keeping the story going. But the question still lingers. Was he handing down a passion or just the same old burden? Gold mining looks cool on TV, but it's brutal. Physical pain, long hours, machines that eat up money and time. He got beat up, literally. That back injury wasn't just a minor hiccup, it slowed him down, changed how he worked, reminded him he wasn't invincible. Even after all the pain and problems, nothing could get them ready for the mess that came next out on the cold, rough sea. Fights break before the ice does. You'd think hunting for gold would feel like treasure hunting, right? Some kind of exciting adventure with dramatic music in the background. But out in Nome, Alaska, it's less Indiana Jones and more like freezing your fingers off while arguing with your crew in the middle of the ocean. This isn't a glamorous job. It's wet, cold, loud, and full of busted gear, broken dreams, and people who are way too tired to be polite. Let's start with Vernon. This guy and his crew show up ready to dive for the first time that season. Spirits are high, everyone's feeling pumped, and then boom, somebody snaps. Arguments break out over who's doing what, who's messing up, and who's the boss of who. Welcome to day one. This kind of drama isn't rare.
You can't just call up somebody and say, hey, I need another sluice box. It's all custom built.
When you're stuck on a boat with the same people for hours and your paycheck depends on sucking up chunks of metal from the sea floor, patience runs out fast. They eventually patch things up, but that kind of stress doesn't just disappear, it builds. Zeke, on the other hand, decides to go back to an old spot that didn't exactly treat him well the first time. There's some kind of emotional weight tied to that place. Maybe he's trying to prove something. Maybe he's chasing ghosts. He's thinking a lot, trying to do things differently this time, but let's be honest, it's still a gamble. Just because a place didn't work before doesn't mean it's going to magically hand over gold now, but Zeke's not giving up. He's wired to keep going no matter how hard things get, and that stubborn streak is what keeps some of these miners alive out here. Then there's Chris. This guy tries diving alone in the middle of winter. That's not brave, it's reckless. The ice is thick, the cold is brutal, and doing this stuff without backup is just asking for trouble. If something goes wrong, there's nobody there to help. Hypothermia, drowning, equipment failure, take your pick. But he goes down anyway, hoping the payoff is worth the risk. Watching this kind of solo act reminds you how close these people constantly are to real danger. Meanwhile, Shawn catches wind of a new claim up for grabs. He jumps on it fast, pulls all the strings, makes the moves. He's always chasing the next big thing, and this time he thinks it'll pay off. You can call it smart or call it greedy, but at least he understands how the game works. Out here, it's not just about digging, it's about timing, instinct, and a little bit of luck. If you wait too long, someone else grabs your shot. Emily's back too, and her dredge decides to throw a tantrum. Machines break, that's a given, but her whole season's hanging by a thread, and every minute the gear isn't working, she's losing money. She's one of the few women doing this out here, and the pressure's always higher. Everyone's watching, judging, waiting to see if she can hold it together. And she does, but not because it's easy. She pushes through because she doesn't have the option to quit. Then you've got Chris Kelly, who thinks new toys will solve old problems. He drops serious money on new gear, expecting big results. But tech doesn't magically fix everything. You still have to learn how to use it. His crew fumbles through trial and error, trying to figure out how this stuff actually works while the clock's ticking. Eventually, they get the hang of it, but not without plenty of headaches. It's a lesson every miner learns the hard way. Better tools don't mean instant gold. Let's not forget the biggest wild card in all of this, Mother Nature. She's moody, unpredictable, and doesn't care about your plans. One minute the sea is calm, and the next it's a churning mess of waves and wind. Ice moves, tides shift, storms roll in fast. These aren't just annoying, they're dangerous. Crews have to call off dives, scrap whole days of work, or risk everything.
Wants to take and take and take and take and take. Never enough.
No amount of planning can stop a storm from ruining your week. And then there's the drama. Oh man, the drama. Being stuck in a small, noisy, freezing space with the same people day in and day out. Yeah, fights happen. Sometimes it's over dumb stuff. Who didn't clean? Who used up the coffee? Other times it's serious. Leadership issues, bad calls, safety risks. Trust breaks fast out there, and when it does, things go downhill quick. But even with the yelling and walkouts, you'll see something else too. Those moments when people pull together, back each other up, and get the job done anyway. Is Shawn's dad protecting what's rightfully his, or is he just being greedy now that the cameras are rolling? Tell us what you think, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more.